College football underway as well. Purdue did not get the start that they were hoping for. Indiana maybe surprised some people. They certainly surprised them with a game-winning drive, but getting a win, period, and starting the Big Ten season with a win, certainly a great start for Indiana because now they're at the very least should start the season 3-0
Right.
before they go to a Cincinnati team that still looks to be pretty formidable. And watching them, they're very well coached. Obviously, you can tell they've made a ton of mistakes. Cincinnati did in that game. I watched that game. They made more mistakes. I couldn't believe the mistake. They shot themselves in the foot in that game, virtually.
Right. First game, first game is hard to tell. But I thought IU defensively was outstanding. I don't know how many tackles for loss they had, but it was a bunch. And I thought Bazelak, for a guy who didn't have a running game, 300 and something yards, I thought he was terrific. I thought he showed a lot of poise in that final drive.
Well, that's him right there. You just encapsulated him with that word. He's always like that.
Yeah. So I was very, very impressed. That said, and I know you probably have more IU fans watching this than Purdue fans. I think by the time the season is over, Purdue will have a far superior record to IU. Agree or disagree?
I would have easily agreed with that at the start of the season. I have to look at Purdue's record or schedule.
They don't play Ohio State. They don't play Michigan. They've got a cush schedule.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you already then.
All right.
Because Indiana's still to me, I still see them, if they can, getting to 6 wins is possible for this team now, but it's still it's going to be a chore because of who they have to play, where Purdue will probably easily win 7 and possibly 8 games.
Yes, I agree. I think they're an 8-win team. Look, they found somebody in Charlie Jones, this kid from Iowa. I mean, he had he got halfway to his total in one game. He got halfway to his total at Iowa. So, and I think Aiden O'Connell is I think he's got NFL ability. I really do. I think he's so accurate and, again, poised. They talk about shooting yourself in the foot. They shot themselves in the head. I mean, terrible tackling, that the fumble and the ensuing touchdown by Penn State before the half. I mean, the penalties. This is a team that averaged 4.5 penalties a game last year. I think they had 9. And they were all really hurtful. They came at the worst time. So I just thought they beat themselves in many ways. And I think by season's end, Purdue will be the superior team. But we'll see.
I want to ask something about the end of that Purdue game. A lot has been made about whether they should have ran the football, ran some clock, or whether they should have passed it. To me, I feel like that's almost a no-win situation. You obviously throw in completions, you stop the clock. At the same time, you look at the stat sheet. I think they had 70 yards on 23 carries or 25 carries, something ridiculous. I feel like if they run the ball 3 straight times and you don't get anywhere and Penn State still scores, then you have the reverse. We have the reverse conversation where why weren't you throwing the ball? You were able to get some completions and pick apart Penn State's defense at times. You were never able to run the football. So I'm not saying it was the right or wrong call. I'm just interested in another perspective on this.
Well, I'm not, because I want to see you do a spit take. But no, look, they had a couple of penalties. There you go, Jim. They had 2nd and 25 with about 4 minutes left. I mean, you're not going to get the first down there. And they're throwing deep. They're not even throwing short passes. They're throwing deep. So 2nd and 25, he throws the ball downfield. 3rd and 30, he's throwing the ball downfield. If you run the ball, you force them to use their timeouts. They got on the bus. There was a seat there for the 2 timeouts to sit. I mean, they walked out. There were 2 timeouts. So there you have got to run the football. That was a giveaway. Now, would they have they scored super quick? So, you know, you don't know that it would have stopped them, but still you put more pressure on them where they get the ball back with less time and no timeouts. It changes their entire approach. I thought that Jeff Brom got a little goofy there.
Yeah, that surprised me a little bit too. But yeah, you got to be happy for Indiana knowing that they have a quarterback that you can count on. Because I promise you, that's the thing that struck me about him. Or every time I've been around him, he is the same way. He doesn't get jacked up. And man, you want that in a quarterback. Tom Allen, of course, was more jacked up after the game because he was. Actually, I think Connor Bazelak was the first to speak to us. So he brought us to him in the first, and he was just matter of fact. He said, "Oh, okay." Just talking, boom, boom, and it was it. And he's been that way every time, and I can see him in the huddle being that way. And Indiana they're very fortunate to have him. What did Missouri do? Curiously,
I have no earthly idea.
I'm just curious because, you know, Missouri also has a former defensive coach there from IU. And Bob, did you notice that Indiana's former defensive coordinator, who's now part of the North Carolina staff, they gave up over 60 points to App State.
40 in the fourth quarter. They scored 40 in the fourth quarter and lost.
Unbelievable.
Amazing.
That's unbelievable.
And well, for people who don't understand how bad it was for Indiana last year, there's your defensive coordinator. He's a part of that staff now. And your quarterback that was misused or not protected, he was easily gained the starting job in Washington and threw for over 300 yards there.
Well, I'm rooting for that kid. I am rooting for that kid. I don't think he was misused. I mean, yeah, they didn't protect him well.
Misprotected is what I meant. He was just not.
He just wasn't right. I mean, he still wasn't right after the surgeries. But yeah, I'm really rooting for that kid. He's good people, and you know, people complain about the transfer portal, but he needed a new opportunity. He needed a fresh start, and that's what it's meant for.
It was great. It was perfect for him. Just unfortunate for Indiana. Go ahead, Dustin.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, because he's not as mobile as Connor Bazelak. And I'm not saying Connor Bazelak is someone who can pick up 40 yards, but at the same time, he can scramble. He can create plays. He can.
Well, he had the longest run from scrimmage.
He can extend. That's true. He can extend plays. Michael Penix really can't do that. So
yeah, Penix. I always thought Penix could run.
He could. Everybody was afraid when he ran because he was going to get hurt.
Right.
I don't blame him. You know.